Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear sisters, my name is Salma. I'm a mom of six. I'm a homeschooler, former midwife, simplicity parenting coach. And here on this channel, I talk about building healthy Muslim families and any topic related to motherhood as it comes up in the conversation with moms. So I want to keep it real here, not just have a set curriculum or set agenda, but rather the topics will just kind of unfold based on what the community is asking. A lot of what has come up in the last 6 months or so that I've been recording regularly here is mothers saying about their struggles, mothers saying that they're lonely, that they feel unsupported, that they feel like they're struggling. And so I want to address three very practical tips today on how we can get the support. We need to stop waiting for somebody to come and rescue us, but I want to give you practical ways of how you can go about creating your own support network, inshallah, and how things can get better for you practically. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. I've been struggling with being alone and lonely and unsupported and isolated many times in my life as a mom. My circumstances have changed. I moved countries multiple times. I was alone. I was never around a big family or a big tribe and village. It always had, even if I lived near family, it was sometimes difficult to get to them, or sometimes the family members were not as supportive due to religious differences and things like that. So I know what it's like to be alone, and I know what it's like to be isolated. But I've also created that support, and I've been working on creating that support for mothers over the last 25 years. So today I want to share how to go about it, right? Okay, so 3 tips, inshallah. Part 1, I want to kind of just tell you that why waiting for support does not help. So if you're just sitting there and complaining and you're alone and nothing is happening, and you have to kind of take responsibility. So that's the first shift in your mind, in your thinking. You have to kind of say, okay, it doesn't help anybody if you're just complaining that you're alone. You have to do practically something about it. So we all know the idea of what takes a village to raise a child, but many of us have seen that the village is maybe not the most supportive, right? And maybe we have cut off certain people, maybe we have set boundaries, maybe we are practically isolated, like we just live far away from each other, like we live on different continents, we live in different countries, or sometimes we are even in a large family, but we feel unsupported and we feel lonely, right? The circumstances can differ, so there's many ways. But when we're waiting for somebody to notice our struggles, when we're waiting and sitting around and just kind of thinking, okay, who's going to come and rescue us, that just deepens the feeling of helplessness, right? That just makes us more like, oh, look, no one cares. Like, oh, look, we are alone. But when we kind of reframe it and we say like, okay, I don't want to be a victim anymore. Okay, khalas, qadarullah, this is happening to me. I am feeling lonely. I'm feeling unsupported. But what it is that I can do about it, then I kind of get that power. Like, then I can, take responsibility. So you have to kind of make that mind shift change instead of, okay, things are happening to you and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just like, oh yeah, okay, it is what it is, but what am I going to do about it? Right? And so you kind of accept the qadr, you accept that, the position where Allah has put you in, but now you kind of start tying your camel and you start trusting Allah, like that Allah will guide you through it, right? And so if you clicked on this video, you're probably in that position where you're like, okay, I'm feeling unsupported, I'm feeling lonely, I'm looking for more things. And so that's a good first step. But now the step we're working on here is changing our mindsets and just kind of saying, okay, I'm not going to be a victim, I'm not just going to sit around and complain, but I'm actually going to do something very practical, right? So waiting for support doesn't work. You have to kind of take responsibility for your own life. That's the first point I want to make. Second point is I want you to change the perspective from being a victim to being proactive, okay? So instead of asking, how come nobody's helping me, is like, what can I do to bring the support that I need into my life, right? Okay, what can you do? So first of all, you can work on identifying what kind of support you need, right? And I've asked this in the previous videos, what is the support you would like to have? What do you need? Because often people maybe are trying to be supportive, but it's not resonating with you. Maybe you consider it meddling, you consider it overbearing, maybe you consider it toxic, right? And so it's not that the people are not trying to help you, but maybe they're trying to help you in the wrong way. So first of all, when you kind of start saying, okay, I want, how come nobody is helping me? Define for yourself what help means and what kind of support are you looking for, right? And so be grateful for all the things that you have. So, and switch from that complaining mindset to, alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed me with such and such, and I would like to ask Allah for more, okay? And so take some small steps then to create that support. And that could be reaching out to a neighbor. That could be going to the local masjid and trying to meet some sisters, or that could be starting a program. That could be something like joining the Mommy Mondays, even if it's a virtual community. Maybe you don't have a car and you can try, you can go, or maybe you can ask somebody for a ride. So think about the things that matter to you. What is it that maybe you're lonely, or maybe you need somebody who's going to watch the kids, so maybe you need a babysitter, right? Like over the years, I have found different ways how to help myself with Allah's help, but like small things, right? And so you start out with these small connections. You can go to the masjid and reach out to somebody. You can go to an activity, maybe like a play date, or to the park, try to reach out to another mom, or maybe join a group in your vicinity where you live and see if there's a mom meetup, or try to do something instead of waiting for somebody to reach out to you. Maybe be that first mom who's going to start something. So when I first started the parenting support group, I felt lonely and unsupported, but I started it because, I wanted the support. I wasn't waiting for somebody else to do the support group. I did it myself. So same thing here. If you cannot join the virtual Mommy Monday community, try to maybe get together with the moms in your city. Try to make a parenting group wherever you are. Try to make a mommy play group, or, the kids can play and you can just chit chat. Like, try to do something. Like, don't just be there saying it's not working, but put some tangible steps, like, how can I be proactive? There was a time in my life where I didn't have I didn't drive, we didn't have access to a second car. My husband was busy. I was home with 2 young children. One of my best friends at the time, subhanAllah, she was also in the same position, didn't have access to a car, lived far away. Her husband was working and she was at home with the child, and she was pregnant, right? And we read an article, this was many years back, on mothering.com, about establishing your tribe, or like building your own tribe. And so what would happen is we kind of both talked it over, what it is that we needed. We were both lonely, we needed help, but we didn't want to just be visiting, right? Because we had things to do and we had young children. And so her husband would bring her in the morning to my house with the laundry basket full of dirty clothes and with some groceries, and then she would stay with me whole day. Okay, so we would spend the day together. We would do laundry together. She would do laundry at my place. We would cook together, and then at the end of the day, when her husband would come pick her up, we would make double. Okay, so then she would just take the maid dinner home and they could have dinner together. She would play with the kids while I would be putting one of them to sleep. And so we spent the whole day together, and then sometimes, we would just take a little break from each other. Everybody's just having a quiet time in the corner, right, including the moms. And so this was something that I had to be proactive about. The tribe didn't come naturally. So maybe you can have somebody in your circle, and you can kind of be creative about how can I establish that support? What is it I need? Do I need somebody to help me with the kids? Do I need somebody who's going to help me with the groceries? There was a time where my husband left to Saudi, and when he got the job and I was still alone by myself, I had 3 kids at the time. And so I got a high school student to come and help me just take the boys to the park, or just to play with them, right? And so be creative. Think of ways, how can you get a babysitter? How can you get somebody to help you? How can you ask for help? And what specific help do you need? And how can you go about it, right? But you have to define that first for yourself. So stop being a victim and start being proactive and asking and in communicating what you need. Part 3 is to build practical strategies, how to build that support. So be intentional with your time. You don't need a lot of time with other people. Maybe sometimes, just a phone call will help. Sometimes so what we have found with Mommy Mondays, for example, that session once a week was a lot for the moms to get them through the whole week, alhamdulillah. So we would meet up on a Monday, had the 2-hour session, and the sisters would feel energized. They would feel like, okay, I got to see people, we got to discuss things, I got it off of my chest. That was that parenting support group in action, and they were fine for the rest of the week. That was enough for them. So maybe it's just one phone call that would make you feel better, right? So try it with small things. It doesn't have to be maybe that whole day, or that, ongoing friendship every single day, but maybe just, something strategic. So see if you can reach out. Maybe you can reach out to some of your friends that you already have and you haven't talked to them. Send them a text. So be proactive. It doesn't have to take a lot of time, okay? Communicate your needs clearly. Say what you need. This is what I would like. Ask them. And then, try to join communities online, okay? And again, if it's taking too much of your energy and if it's draining your energy, that's not the right place for you. Because sometimes when you join a Facebook group, or when you join your weekly or your community WhatsApp, there's tons of messages, and if it's draining your energy, don't do it. Like, see if it's actually replenishing your energy, if you feel better. So again, this is why we have chosen to host the Mommy Monday platform on the Circle app instead of the WhatsApp, because on WhatsApp it was just too many messages. This way it's on the Circle app. That way your WhatsApp can stay private for your family communication or whatever, and then you can just log in when you feel like you have the energy, and you can just keep it. And again, we are just focusing on the weekly Zoom session, so it's 2 hours a week. That's it. You don't need any more time. There won't be any too many messages. You can disable all the notifications. So join an online community that's going to be giving you energy rather than draining your energy through, mindless drama and too many messages. Okay. I think point 3 at this point, or I'm not even sure, I kind of lost track, is to build a supportive environment at home. Okay, so we talked about, changing the mindset from being a victim to being proactive. We're talking about like using your time wisely. Okay, so it is point 3, how to build a supportive environment at home. So what does that mean? Is meaning involving your family, teaching your kids responsibilities, getting your kids involved, telling them what you need, speaking to your spouse about your needs, okay? And again, it doesn't always have to be a complaint-based kind of thing, but rather, hey, remember the time the good things were happening, how can we make more of that, right? And so having a conversation, and particularly when you're adding children, the dynamics of the relationships are changing, okay? You've never had a child before, now you're having a child, now you're gonna have another baby. You've never had 5 kids before, now things are changing, now you have 6, now you have teenagers. Just as you figure out one relationship stage, another one is coming, right? So the dynamic is going to be fluid, and you're going to have a lot of conversation what support in that particular life feels like. There was a time where I was able to travel a lot. Now I'm feeling like, okay, I'm tired, I don't want to travel as much, right? And so my needs are changing, and because of the circumstances of my life are changing, and that's an ongoing conversation. So just because you communicated something with your spouse before doesn't mean it's still valid. Maybe things have changed. Maybe your needs have changed, right? Because of a new child, because of a new pregnancy, because of a new developmental stage your child is going through. Maybe things have to change. So keep that communication at home going, so keep having a conversation, what you need, keep listening to your husband, what his needs are. You're building this family together, so it's not just a one-way street, right? And so you want to prevent marital problems before they're happening. And so if one of the spouses is feeling lonely and isolated and feeling like they're not being supported, it's a recipe for disaster. So you want to kind of start building that support in your home before things get too bad, right? And so you want to involve your children, you want to give them tasks to do. Even young ones can help, and you can start establishing family meetings where you kind of discuss, okay, this is what's going on, we need all hands on deck, everybody needs to help, mommy cannot do it alone, Baba is going to do this, the kids are going to do that. Like, it creates a lot of people to create that village, right? And it cannot be just the moms alone doing it all by themselves, right? So start creating that environment at home. These are the things you can change. You cannot maybe change the whole society, but there are little things that you can do within your home to get more support, inshallah, okay? So you can't wait. Nobody's coming to get you. You have to kind of start taking care of yourself. And so don't just sit and complain. Start making dua, and then start tying your camel, start taking little actionable steps towards, being better. So take a step today. What can you do today to feel more supported? Is there something specific that you need from your kids? Is there something specific you can do for yourself instead of just sitting around and moping around? Maybe you can get up and do the thing and just kind of feel more energetic. And that includes your self-care as well. So instead of waiting for somebody to give you permission that, yes, you can go for a walk, or you should exercise, or you can drink some water and feel better, do the thing for yourself. You deserve it, okay? You deserve it. You're worthy of being taken care of. And so if nobody else is coming to take care of you, then get up and do it yourself, right? And so be proactive, do something today, and then once you start doing it, you'll realize that you're capable of things. You'll realize that, okay, I can do this. And part of the Mommy Mondays community is building boundaries. So when moms realize that they can commit to showing up on a Monday for 2 hours, that they can protect that time, when they learn. And sometimes there's resistance. Sometimes the kids are crying. Sometimes they feel guilty. Oh, but it's dinner time, and how can I make the time? Or it's early. But once they get into the routine of taking time for themselves, when they have this regular timing of 3 to 5 or 6 to 8 p.m. Dubai time, or whatever that ends up being in your Thai Zoom, it doesn't matter the timing. But when you make that conscious time for yourself, it kind of leads this ripple effect. It's like, okay, look, I can show up for something else. Oh, okay. So maybe if it's not Mommy Mondays, you can do something else. You can start making time for your other goals. You can start making your other goals possible. And you can say, okay, this is the day where I'm going to reach out to a friend and we're going to do something together. We're going to go to the park together. I'm going to go to the masjid and try to meet some new sisters. I'm going to try to reach out to like-minded people. I'm going to post in my community and say, hey, I'm doing this play date for moms and toddlers, or I want to start. Every community I've gone to, I was the one reaching out. There was nobody telling me, okay, here, this is the thing, join. It was always me who had to be proactive. And that's, I'm not saying this to toot my own horn, but I'm rather saying this like you have to go for it instead of just waiting for somebody to come and get you. So you have to be the one proactive. So I encourage you to think today, as you're watching this video, to identify what kind of support you need, what is the thing that's bothering you the most, and how can you do something small towards getting that support, inshallah, okay? There's construction happening here. I think you guys can hear the noise, so I'm gonna call it a day here. We're gonna finish it off here. And so you're gonna, again, to recap, shift your mindset, go from being a victim to thinking, okay, you can do this, you can take responsibility, build small connections, take your time, you know, just even small phone call, small message, reach out to somebody, be brave in that sense, and then create your home environment. Start with your family, communicate with them what kind of help you need, set some boundaries there around your time, say no to certain things. Hey, I cannot do this, I'm too tired, I need to sleep, mommy's tired, can you help her with this? Say no to certain things and start with your own home environment, inshallah, and that will have a ripple down effect into your other relationships, inshallah, in your home. So I hope this helps, inshallah. If you feel like it, if you want to join the Mommy Monday community, I will leave a link below. The doors are still open this week, inshallah. We'll close on Sunday, inshallah, January 19th. Our first official session will be on January 20th. Those are weekly parenting support sessions that happen live on Zoom. There are no recordings, so the point is to make it live, to talk to other sisters, to share our concerns, to share our wins. That's what Mommy Mondays is about. If you want to check out the other video where I talk about the most frequently asked questions about Mommy Mondays, you can check that out as well. But basically, it's all the topics we discuss here on YouTube. It's just happening more interactively, right? So you get access to me, you get access to other practicing Muslim sisters who are going through the same thing. Some of them have young kids, some of them have older kids. We're creating a wonderful international community of moms who care and who want to thrive. And if this feels like something you're interested in, please join us. If not, if at this time this is not a possibility for you due to finances or your timing, that's totally okay. I will still be showing up on YouTube, inshallah. And so I'll see you there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.